Welcome to this business update with diagnostic company AegirBio, focusing on tests on saliva. In the studio next to me, I have the CEO Marco Witteveen. Please welcome, Marco.
Thank you very much.
So, reflecting on your tenure, Marco, since taking over as CEO of AegirBio last June, what have been the major developments and where does the company stand now?
Well, thank you for that question. Unfortunately, there's no short answer to that. So let me start by restructuring the team and the focus that we created. So during my arrival at the company, we had people working in Finland, we had people working in the US, we have people working in the UK, which was not always very efficient and very effective. So what we have decided is to move our science and our R&D to the AegirBio UK. So we still have our offices open in Finland and in Abreu in the US, but the core technology and the core development is based in AegirBio UK. So if we go to the next thing that we have achieved, we have created a clear strategic vision. So we created our mission, our vision, and everybody could have seen it on our website, what that is all about. But beside that, we also developed a go-to-market strategy. We looked at market analysis, identifying target customers, crafting a compelling value proposition, setting competitive pricing, planning distribution, and potential identifying license partners. So beside the general strategy, we also looked at more in what is our go-to-market strategy and how could we do that. So other topic, what made some significant change was leadership and governance. We didn't have a scientific advisors committed to the company, but now with Professor Adam Scheifetz, which is a leader in the inflammatory bowel disease area, and Professor Ian Chappell, which is a leader in the oral biomarker discovery, we have added significant scientific expertise to our team, which helps us to bring in the right products to the market for the future. But besides our scientific advisors, we also have a new chairman and new board members. So first of all, our new chairman, Jens Umahaag, he has significant financial expertise and also strategic expertise that helps our company to move forward. We have Michael Schwartz, based in the US, who knows the dental market, who's dealt with that. He also has a lot of strategic background and financial background. And last but not least, Bill Ferenczi, which is a person who has decades of expertise in diagnostics, and specifically also in point-of-care diagnostics.
So you could say you almost reshaped the whole company then?
Well, yes. Well, there's of course more. So what we did also, in terms of our development, we had the Magni reader at that time, and in Q4 we also launched the RADx program. So we got the grant for Work Plan 1. So that's what we have done. So we have already developed a prototype reader, and the performance of the reader and the assays look very nicely. So very happy and trusted with the technology a lot. So first we finished milestone 1 and milestone 2. So now we are heading to milestone 3 and 4, and with the performance that we have seen, it looks very very positive.
When will the next milestone be in time?
We are aiming to finish that in July.
Okay.
So, also in terms of business development, we are actively identifying partners at the moment in oral health space. You can imagine that there are companies out there that would be benefit, of having a test that looks at oral health status of a patient that could benefit their other products that they have in their portfolio. But also we're looking at business partner in therapeutic drug monitoring, specifically with natalizumab as a biosimilar drug, which is used with patients with MS. So we are actively also looking at business partners at this point. Of course, we also secured financing, 45 million SEK that we received, and actually that was to secure Work Plan 1 and get us moving into Work Package 2. So, we got the product development, which is moving nicely. We got the financing, so everything looks very positive. And I think the last, but I don't think is the least important step that we have done is our communication and change management. So what you have also seen that we are more, we have more communication to the market, more PRs. We are active on LinkedIn. We are active on other social media. And we can communicate more than we have ever done before. So we would like to take our customers and our shareholders and keep them up to date on milestones and things we achieve.
That's maybe one of the reasons you're standing next to me today.
Absolutely, this is an example of that.
Yeah. So could you describe AegirBio's at-home testing kit for proactive oral health monitoring and the collaboration with the National Institute of Health RADx project?
Yeah, we are developing a small reader and the assay technology, but also the app and the cloud solution under RADx. And of course, the RADx focus is on COVID and flu A and flu B, but that doesn't withhold us to also develop, on the same platform, different assays that we can also bring to market for home. For RADx, we are looking at people with low vision and low dexterity, but of course, future products can also be applied to these customers, but also to supply to people who don't have these issues. So, yeah, if we then look at focus a little bit more on oral health and oral health monitoring, what we see is that, and it's quite shocking, is that 47% of people in the US have periodontal disease, and also almost half of the UK population have a periodontal disease. Most of the people are not aware that they have it. Some people with severe periodontitis, of course, you can visually see it, but the mild and moderate is difficult to diagnose. And for example, if you look at the UK market, GPs, so general practitioners, are obliged to monitor their diabetes population for their oral health status, because oral health and systemic disease is more like a syndrome. One inflicts or one impacts the other. So if you have bad oral health, your systemic health will also be worse, and vice versa also. So GPs have difficulties in doing that, objectifying, what the oral health status is. And with such an assay, they can objectify the oral health status of their diabetes population. So this is an example of what our assay could deliver, to the community.
Are you also considering targeting the professional market with your technology?
Yes, absolutely. We in RADx we are almost finalizing our prototype reader, which is actually a very nice benchtop reader. And that also gave us the idea is that if we have developed that, it's ready, and we can develop the assay technology. This is actually our first go-to-market product, because from a regulatory standpoint, it's easier and quicker to bring a product to the professional market than to the home market, which takes longer. And for the home market, we can learn from this project, from the assays that we develop, and take it to the home platform, and then after that we can develop the same assay, but then not for professional use but for home use.
I think you touched it briefly earlier, but could you elaborate a bit on the connection between oral health and systemic diseases, and explain how early detection of oral health issues can reduce the risk of these illnesses?
Yes, of course. Well, oral microbiome is the community of microorganisms, including bacteria, viruses, protozoa, and fungi, and they inhabit in the mouth. So we all have a microbiome, but yours is different than mine. So it can be that out of the hundreds of bacteria that in your mouth, there are good and there are bad. There might be in your situation more bad, in your oral health, in your oral cavity, than for me. In terms of objectifying that, it's important that you understand, what effect it could have on systemic health. Well, if we look to, for example, diabetes, there's a clear correlation between oral health and diabetes. If we look to cardiovascular disease, there is a clear correlation, respiratory infections. There are many diseases that are related to that. So if you have periodontal disease, your bacteria accumulates. So the good, but also the bad. And the bad comes into your stomach. That's why people talking about the gut microbiome. It comes into your blood and it does the damage in different organs. So of course, if you have good oral health status, you're likely to have less chance of getting systemic disease than if you have bad oral health. And of course, if you have systemic disease, it's also very important. For example, if you have inflammatory bowel disease, it's very important to optimize your oral health status, because that also helps you managing your disease better.
And so what diseases could your platform potentially monitor?
Well, we are looking more into the preventative space, because an ounce of prevention is a pound of cure, more valuable than a pound of cure. So I think in the preventive space, periodontitis, I think it's the mother of the diseases if you look into the oral cavity. But of course, cardiovascular disease, pre-birth, hormonal disbalance, fertility, early stage diabetes, and also several cancer types, like head and neck cancer, also correlated, to bad oral health. And if we look to the chronic disease space, for example, therapeutic drug monitoring. So, but I already mentioned, natalizumab, which is a biosimilar drug, for people with MS. So that's managing chronic patients, but also potentially osteoporosis. So women in the menopause, so they can have issues, with osteoporosis. We see that a lot of old elderly women break bones or hips or whatever. We would like to overcome that and, keep their osteoporosis status, to the maximum, to the best level that they can get to. And of course also COPD and rheumatoid arthritis. But there are many more other kinds of opportunities that are out there.
Like you mentioned, you recently announced an agreement with Atlas Special Opportunities for about 45 million SEK loan facility. How will this funding support AegirBio's plans?
It's fundamental. It's fundamental for our where we are at this point. So first of all, it is to secure work package 1. So we have finished work milestone 1 and 2.
And this is for RADx.
And this is for RADx, absolutely. So we are looking at finishing milestone 3 and 4. So with this money we can secure the development of the project. And also, between work package 1 and work package 2, there is some time in between. So we don't want to stop, but we want to continue to develop the project. So this money we can use to not stop, but continue the development. And of course, work package 2 is not a given, but I think we have a very strong and compelling case, to defend, for the committee for RADx. But it also secures us in getting into work package 2 if we get it.
Yeah. So what are the key milestones the market can watch for during the rest of 2024?
Well, first of all, I think the key project that we are running, what everybody is aware of, is finishing work package 1 successfully. We are very optimistic about that, and also getting us work package 2. So there will be an additional funding related to that. Again, it's not a given, but I think we're doing everything that we can, and I think the signs look good. So, but nevertheless, this is where we are aiming for 2024. Other than that, we would like to finalize our reader for professional use, so our prototype, to optimize it and then do design freeze on that, and start developing, the assay, the oral health assay that we are planning. Start developing that in Q3 this year. And of course, we are working on several business development opportunities, and this is always very challenging, but it looks very good. So hopefully we can at least have one of these projects up and running, before the new year.
Thank you for this update. But do you have any final thoughts or message about AegirBio to the market?
Yes, of course. As a startup, it's always challenging to have the time and the money to get to the end product. That's always the target. I think, with the development that we are having, it's looking very good, very promising. Also, we've secured financing, so I'm very optimistic about that. And the time for saliva is now. Always, blood was always preferred, but blood, of course, is very difficult to obtain. And there is so much information in saliva that we are learning right now, and that there's a lot of focus on, which is very important. And I think, where we are aiming for to the market, periodontitis, is not a very crowded market. It's a very expertise market, and we have the expertise, and we see the value there. Knowing that 1 billion people, in the world have periodontal disease. If we could have 1.01% of that, that's already a significant benefit, to the company, but also to people's health status. So I think that's I think the potential is there. To finalize my interview, I would like to thank the investors, everybody who believes in us and keep trusting in us and what we are doing. I would like to thank my magnificent team based in the UK. They're doing a tremendous job. And I also would like to thank our valued third-party collaborators because their partnership, without this partnership, we couldn't have succeeded. So very optimistic about the future and more to come.
And I want to thank you, Marco Witteveen, for sharing all this with us.
Yeah, thank you very much.